You've brought a lawsuit against your doctor claiming that he was careless, causing you significant harm and injury. Your case goes all the way to trial. A jury gives you a verdict of $10 million. And now you're thrilled. Do you think that just because a jury gave you $10 million, you're going to walk away with $10 million? You want to know the real answer? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some amazing information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. So now you brought a lawsuit against your doctor whom you believe caused you significant harm and injury. And now the defense refuses to accept those things. They refuse to acknowledge they did anything wrong. In fact, they argue that you also contributed to your own injuries. And then they say, you know what? We think that your injuries really are not as bad as you claim them to be. So now, there's clear issues here. The defense refuses to negotiate. Your case goes all the way to trial. 2 to 3 years later, your case winds up at trial. And now, after 2 weeks at trial with experts and testimony and evidence on both sides, the jury comes back and gives you a verdict in your favor in the amount of $10 million. You are thrilled. You have been vindicated. You knew all along that this doctor was careless, and you knew that you were entitled to all this money as a form of compensation for all of the harms and losses and injuries that you suffered. And now you believe in your mind, in your heart of hearts, that that $10 million is going to be yours in your bank account very soon. Well, let me share something that will be eye-opening for you. In all likelihood, you're not going to see that $10 million. You know why? The very first thing that the defense lawyer is going to do when the jury comes back with that verdict, they're going to ask the trial judge to throw the verdict out. The defense attorney is going to ask the judge, it's called making a motion, to throw your verdict out. He's going to claim that the verdict is inconsistent with the evidence. And now your attorney has to fight that argument. The judge then has to make a decision right there at the end of your trial. There's a good likelihood the judge is not going to make a snap decision right then and there. In all likelihood, he's going to ask the attorneys to submit papers detailing why each side believes they are right. And then that gives the judge sufficient time to go ahead and read the arguments, to go ahead and reread the transcript, and to then make an educated decision about which attorney is right. So let's say the judge decides, you know what, I'm going to let this verdict stand, which means you, the injured patient, gets $10 million. And you think that's great. Now I'm going to get $10 million in my bank account really soon. Well, no, that's not what's going to happen. You see, in all likelihood, the defense is going to turn around and say, wait a second, this is way, way, way too much money. So now what are they going to do? Well, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to ask the judge to reconsider his decision, or the more likely thing is they're going to appeal your verdict. And that, my friend, is going to take at least 1 to 2 years to get to a conclusion. As the defense tries to appeal your case, many things can happen. The first thing, the most obvious one, is that both sides can try and negotiate. So maybe they can negotiate. Maybe they realize that the $10 million is way in excess of what this case should be. And now maybe you can reach a favorable resolution to something a bit more reasonable according to the defense. That's one possibility. The second possibility is that they say, screw it. We're going to take your case up on appeal, and now we're going to let the appellate court, the higher court, make a decision about whether there were legal rulings that were made incorrectly. And if they were, we're going to ask the judge to throw your case out because we don't believe that you should ever have brought this case. Or they're going to say, you know what? We think that the verdict was wrong. Now send the case back for a new trial. That's another option. Or they're going to say, listen, we think that the verdict is too low, and unless everybody agrees to a higher amount, we're going to send this case back for a new trial. Or they could turn around and say, you know what? This is too high. We're now going to drop this amount to a certain level, let's say $5 million, and if everybody agrees, case is over, we're done. If everybody doesn't agree, well, guess what? Now your case is going back for trial, and you start all over again. So there are many possible outcomes that can occur when the defense goes ahead and appeals your case. So even though you will have gotten a verdict of $10 million, there's a very good likelihood you will not see a dime of that for quite a long time based upon the post-trial motions, that's the request to the judge to throw out your case or to lower the verdict, as well as the appeal that takes place, which could very well take 1 to 2 years from start to finish, from the time of your verdict until the appeal is finally resolved. And then, if your case is sent back for trial, Now you've got to deal with a new trial and a new verdict and the possibility of more appeals. So, why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you because it's a beautiful day today here in Great Neck, and I thought this would be helpful for you to understand the process of what happens when you ultimately go to trial and get a significant verdict, and now you've gotten this great verdict and you believe that by the time you get home, that money will be sitting in your bank account. The reality is, no, it won't. Not for a long time. You know, I recognize you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.